Hi, this is Dr. Nicole Duran here, and I am addressing the question today of how long does it take to learn music? One of my answers is piano and basic singing lessons should fit into your whole life and not just your schedule for a short period of time. If you're searching for piano lessons, music composition, singing lessons, bassoon, online lessons in Red Bank, Chattanooga, the Southeast US, anywhere in the world, you're probably hoping for quick progress and an easy route to generate the music you think is beautiful within a month or two. Maybe you have more patience than that, but what if I told you it'd take 3 years before you can feel like you really accomplished something satisfying on the instrument you've chosen? And here is an underlying deep question. How do you keep music in your life when life inevitably gets complicated and sidetracked? Because it does. Even figuring out what notes are on your page and exactly when to play or sing them can become a puzzle. And life can push music aside. Over the years, I have personally experienced how fragile a musical routine can be. A week of illness can turn into two. A vacation can break your rhythm. A sudden shift, job changes, economic pressure, even new technology can reframe music as being something that's just optional for you to make or even unproductive to your overall life. So these changes are subtle and powerful. In your mind, beauty becomes a luxury instead of a necessity for your life. And when that happens, the beautiful music you want to make is the first thing to go. And this is exactly why flexibility in piano lessons, in singing lessons, isn't just helpful. It's really essential for service and joy and your progress in music. An example of flexibility for my studio is something like this as far as performing. Right now, it's the 250th anniversary of America, and we are going to be participating in this by doing a busking tour. Busking is playing music outside. Well, that's got all kinds of variables involved with it, including temperature, weather, travel conditions. But it will be an adventure, and it is a way to keep me making music while my husband speaks at a creation conference in the Northeast. So if you want to refresh us along the way by buying us a coffee, we would greatly appreciate it. And I cannot take my piano with me everywhere I want to go, but singing and bassoon playing is a lot easier. Well, another reason I'm thinking about history is a historical figure who inspired me is named Betsy Ross. And she showed her faith and her faithfulness even when Philadelphia was just too small a place to support even one upholstery business. Um, she changed her revenue source to be a more generalized person, and she made money through sewing. She had several marriages, and though they ended by her becoming a widow, she wasn't bitter, and she just kept taking care of her family and doing the tasks that she was talented to do in a way that reminds me of another musician, J.S. Bach. He also went the extra mile to create a high quality music life for his community and his family. And he established international traditions in music that we all still benefit from. This perseverance, it really pays off. We can still see a flag that Betsy Ross participated in, and we can still hear the music of J.S. Bach. And just seeing where you fit into the whole history of music can keep you going when times get rough. But you do have to be flexible, and you have to face your fear of failure. Sometimes students ask questions like, am I doing this right? Why can't I hear what's happening? Is this thing an interval or a chord progression? Why do I love this piece of music, but I can't explain why I love this particular piece of music? It's not a sign of weakness that you have these questions in music, but you're actually starting to engage with what music is. If you have these questions all alone in your mind and no one to speak with them about, it can be discouraging. You need some kind of musical community. But often people won't get involved in a musical community because they're afraid of being wrong. They don't know how to describe what they hear. They think everyone else just gets it, or they're one of the chosen few people who is allowed to make music. But that's not true. Real challenges are listening is not always easy. And we know that in music and life. At 8 a.m. in the morning, for example, what if you're studying ear training and you're a little tired? Your mind is already racing to the day ahead. Your emotions are running hot. You're stressed. Your emotions are running high. The end of school is coming. It can be really hard to focus clearly and distinguish sounds clearly. And you might second guess yourself. Well, was it high or lower or too high? Did that suspension resolve or not? It doesn't mean you're not musical. It just means you're not human and you're still practicing your craft. So why community matters more than perfection is our biggest barrier to growth is not having a musical community that keeps us growing towards excellence and not perfection. When no one is listening to you make music, it's harder to stay motivated. It's harder to share your progress. It's hard to feel like your music matters or that you even are a musician. Music is not something that's meant to happen in isolation. Even informal sharing, like playing something unfinished, singing something uncertain, creates some level of accountability, encouragement, and connection. So, very important, just normalize imperfection. At my studio, Duran Music Studio, I like to create a whole life plan for music, which is why I think that piano lessons and singing lessons should be taken in with a whole life plan, not just how fast can you improve, but how can you sustain this kind of music making for decades. And those two areas, singing and piano, can really enrich and become the foundation for anything else you want to learn, whether another instrument or composing or anything in music. So you need to be able to adapt your whole life plan to have ways to adjust during sicknesses or periods of burnout, work around vacations, adapt to economic and schedule changes, and reshape your lessons when life has unusual circumstances. So I take that into account and schedule in specific breaks and then other ways to just sustain things if you're very serious about music, and it would cause you more emotional turmoil to stop it than sustain it. So sometimes you really need to push through and figure out a way to get music in the little bits and cracks of life, and other times you just completely need to give it a rest. So with the classical music training, I have a human approach. We can build strong technique, but do it in a way that allows questions and encourages curiosity and accepts imperfect understanding. We're always growing in our understanding. It's okay to immediately not know all the answers, but just keep beauty in your life. Keeping beauty in your life in a world that just values productivity alone, music can really feel like you're doing something extra, something unnecessary, but that's not true. Music sharpens listening, it deepens emotional awareness, it creates meaning, it gives you a more abundant life and a longer life, and you serve others with the music you do. If we don't actively preserve and guard our music making time, we're going to risk losing something essential. So you don't have to do this alone. I really want to help create musical communities for people. I would encourage you to get on my Set More page, and I would be happy for anybody in the YouTube audience to help you set up a whole life music plan and a 30-minute consultation with Set More, and I could just talk through your goals with you. And another thing, June 21st is around the corner, and I would like to help people get involved by contributing a video for a Make Music Day montage I'm putting together here at Duran Music Studio. And this day, June 21st, is a day people all around the world just renew their commitment to making music in their communities. And it can be done in videos because sometimes it rains, but a lot of times it's done outdoors, and now you'll know what's going on there. So my final thought is thank you so much for listening to me talk. And I'm just so grateful to the Lord for letting me sustain a musical life all these years. And I hope to help you do the same. Subscribe and God bless. Thank you.